Hi, this is Eddie of Eddie's Reef Aquaria. Today's video, you might have guessed by the intro, I'm going to do it on one of my favorite corals, the Fiji or Tonga yellow leather. I'm going to go ahead, and people that follow me know the routine. I go and I do a research of each individual corals that recently I purchased, and then I explain, and to all of you out there, I tell you what I actually found out when it comes to care requirements of the actual corals. So today we're going to talk about it. Okay, so here we are focusing in front of the coral. And this is what I found out. The scientific name of these corals is Sarcophyton elegans. Now the family is Aliconadae, and the species, of course, is soft coral. Now, they're also known as toadstool coral, mushroom coral, or leather umbrella coral. Now, the origin of these corals, in other words, the mother colonies are found in the regions of the Indo-Pacific, including Fiji, Tonga, which is usually, they are referred as Fiji yellow leather or Tonga yellow leather. They're also found in the Solomon Islands and the Great Barrier Reef. Now, some have short tentacles and others have long tentacles. When changed from one system to another, like let's say for instance, from your LFS to your reef, they will tend to shed like a thin film. This always happens. This one, as a matter of fact, as you see it, it hasn't shed yet. I got this coral on Black Friday from Worldwide Corals, and it's been, I would say, from Black Friday, the last week of November to now, and it still hasn't shed. But it all depends on the behavior of the coral, your water parameters. I mean, my water parameters are fine, they're phenomenal, but again, it's not like a precise rule of thought that it's going to shed in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Some can take longer, others can take less. Now, once they start to shed, then every so often you'll find that issue, that they'll go ahead and shed that film. Now, one thing that I would also mention is this coral is considered toxic. Now, why should I say that? Well, because when shedding that film, it's like a waxy film that comes out on the top, on the head, the umbrella. If that film, when it falls off, and you can help it, when you see the film shedding, you can, with the turkey baster, you can just blow it to help it to finally shed. But if, in doing so, and by nature, just by the water current, water flow, if it falls on top of another coral, it could actually kill it. Now, one observation that I've made, because I mean, if you follow me, if you've been following me for quite a while, and you notice the little tank that I had, the Aqua Style 9, I had a leather coral, not Fiji, not a yellow leather, but a regular common toadstool. And you'll notice that when I got it, it was a little coral. I would say it was even a little smaller than this one. And by the end, before I decommissioned the tank, if you look at my videos, they're still out there. On the Aqua Style 9, you'll see that it was humongous. Matter of fact, it almost reached the top of the actual tank. So what happens is, like I was saying, every time they shed, they actually swell. They grow a little bigger. Now, knowing that, then this type of coral should be given space to do the growth pattern. Because now, when you see this Fiji yellow that I have, it's fine. But when it starts to shed and it starts to grow, I mean, it could really double or triple the size. So I might have to move it around. That's why on the base that it comes, this coral definitely is maricultured. It's grabbed to a dead acropora, but that base, if you look at it closely, the base, okay, I don't have it glued. What I have it is, I have it wedged between the two rocks of the rockwork. So when it starts to grow and all that, then I can move it around. Although if I did have it epoxied and all that's not no big deal. I can just like pry it off and mission accomplished. I can place it any other place. But for now, I have it there. Now the next thing I thought I tell all you guys out there is when it comes to feeding. The symbiotic algae zooxanthellae, hosted within the yellow Fiji leather body, provides the majority of the nutritional needs from the light-given, driven process of the photosynthesis. In other words, you really don't have to go out of your way to actually feed this actual coral. Now, however, the yellow Fiji leather will also benefit from additional foods, such as microplankton, baby brine shrimps, or foods designed for filter feeding invertebrates, like powdery foods, like the ones that I actually introduced to this reef, which are, of course, reef roids, reef chili, and phytofeast. Now let's talk about the care levels of this coral. The care level, I noticed upon researching this back and forth, I would say is between easy to moderate. The temperament is peaceful. And when it comes to lighting, excuse me, I would say between low to moderate. But if acclimated to higher lights, it would be, it would obtain a darker yellowish color. Now it really doesn't look yellow because it hasn't shed and it's in the process, I would say still of acclimation, believe it or not. But if I was to put it higher on a higher par value, I would say I would say like the middle range of the tank, but you have to prepare it. You have to acclimate it slowly to higher light levels. It will actually create, or shall we call it, obtain like a canary yellow type of color. So the higher the light par value, the more yellowish it's going to be. And the lower the par value, is not going to be that yellow. Flow. I found out that this coral does need moderate flow because of, like I was mentioning before, about that it sheds. So it does need moderate flow. So when that coral, the top, the umbrella top, the mushroom top, it starts to shed, then it will just fly off. Although, as I mentioned before, you can help it with a turkey basil. And when it comes to the water chemistry, instead of putting them one by one on my previous videos, people that follow me, if I see that it's within the normal range, then that's what I say. Water chemistry within the normal limits, which would be, of course, a temperature, let's say, of 72 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. DKH, I would say 8 to 11. Calcium, 400 to 450 Ca. Magnesium, 1200 to 1350. And I mean, basically the basic parameters that I see on all these other corals, and in general when it comes to reef keeping. And then finally, one thing that I thought I mentioned is, who is this coral for? Well, my recommendation, this is only me, Eddie of Eddie's Reef of Korea, I would say that this coral is for either an intermediate or advanced reef hobbyist. Because of, why do I say that? Well, because you really have to make sure that when it sheds, it doesn't touch any of the corals. And if you want it let's say more darker of a color, you have to move it around. So it's really not a, I mean, they are fairly easy to keep, but you really should keep an eye on it. It's not a coral like, let's say, like mushrooms, like discosomas, that you just look at it, feed the tank, and forget about it. So by what I saw here and what I've read out to all of you guys there, I would say intermediate to advanced. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it interesting, educational, and fun. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Now, next to that button, you have a little bell. That's the notification bell. So if you hit that, you activate your notification on your device, and you'll be the first ones to know when Eddie's Reef Aquaria uploaded a video, which is usually weekly. And I hope you liked it. And like I say at the end of all of my videos, happy reefing. Thank you for watching. Keep safe. And until next time, bye-bye.